Bro, have you ever prayed this prayer? God, please take these thoughts away. I don't want to keep struggling with this. I don't want to keep being tempted. I'm tired. Bro, I've prayed that prayer more times than I can count. Sometimes after a relapse, sometimes before going to sleep, sometimes first thing in the morning, sometimes in the middle of temptation itself. And if I'm honest, there were times when I genuinely wondered, God, are you even listening? Because if you are, why does the temptation keep coming back? Why am I still fighting the same battle? Shouldn't prayer make this easier? Shouldn't you just take these desires away? Maybe you've asked those same questions. I know I have. But recently, I've started looking at my prayers differently, because I realized something. Almost every prayer I prayed sounded like this: God, change my circumstances. Remove this temptation. Take away these thoughts. Make this battle disappear. None of those prayers are wrong. God invites us to bring every burden to Him. He cares about every struggle we face. But I started wondering, what if God is answering a different prayer than the one I keep expecting? What if His greatest goal isn't simply to remove every temptation, but to transform the man who is facing it? Think about the people we read about in the Bible. Joseph still faced temptation. Daniel still faced pressure. Jesus himself was tempted in the wilderness. God didn't remove every difficult situation from their lives, but He was with them in the middle of those battles. And that's made me ask a different question. Instead of asking, why doesn't God remove my temptation? Maybe I should ask, what is God trying to produce in me through this temptation? Because every battle gives me a choice: to trust Him or to trust myself, to follow my feelings or to follow His truth, to become the man I used to be or to become the man He's shaping me into. Bro, I used to think that answered prayer would look like this. One morning I'd wake up and I'd never struggle with lust again. No more urges, no more thoughts, no more temptation. But that's not what has happened. Instead, I've noticed something much quieter. The temptations still come, but sometimes my response is different. Sometimes I pause before reacting. Sometimes I pray instead of panicking. Sometimes I walk away sooner than I used to. Sometimes I remember scripture when I would have forgotten it before. Those may seem like small victories, but maybe that's exactly how God transforms us. Not always by removing the battle overnight, but by changing how we walk through it. And when I look back over the past year, I realize something. I'm not the same man I was. Not because temptation disappeared, but because Christ has been slowly changing me. And maybe that's the answer to the prayer I didn't even know I should be praying. Bro, don't stop asking God for freedom. Keep bringing your struggles to Him. Keep asking Him to help you. Keep believing that He can set you free. But don't assume He's silent just because the temptation hasn't disappeared yet. Maybe every prayer you've prayed has been drawing you closer to Him. Maybe every battle has been teaching you to depend on Him a little more. Maybe every time you've chosen to obey instead of giving in, even if it didn't feel dramatic, God was doing something far deeper than you could see. Because at the end of the day, God isn't just interested in removing one habit from your life. He's interested in making you more like Jesus. And becoming more like Jesus is worth far more than simply becoming a man who no longer struggles. So bro, the next time you pray, don't only ask, God, take this temptation away. Also ask, God, what kind of man are you teaching me to become through this? Because one prayer asks God to change your circumstances. The other invites Him to change your heart. And I think that's where real transformation begins.